Rambo is the most violent film I have probably ever seen. The entire movie has a level of graphic violence that surpasses the opening scenes of Saving Private Ryan. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you go to see a Rambo movie, this is what you expect, this is what you want. I still, though, even going in, kind of having an idea, still blew me away with just how graphic and how raw the violence was in this. Much more realistic than I expected, especially considering the almost comic book violence of the second Rambo film, which is, some of the best action scenes of any any movie from the 80s. Now there is a little bit of depth to the movie. Rambo's called the boatman throughout the film, and on the surface it seems to be because he pilots a boat up and down the river, but it could also be something along the lines of the Greek ferryman of the dead. But okay, I'm probably looking for a little more meaning than this movie's supposed to have. But just in fairness, there's a little bit of depth. Rambo is someone who, he kind of knows what he is, a killing machine. It's what he does best, and this is kind of why he chooses to work with snakes. Being with people, having friends, having family just isn't an option for him. He either doesn't want it or just doesn't trust himself with it. And there's even an early line, one of his first lines in the movies, where he kind of says, "Beep the world," when some missionaries are talking to him and trying to convince him that what they're trying to do is change the world for the better. And so this kind of shows what his character's, the sorrow, the distance he has from society. Now, in the movie now, Stallone actually, for the most part, is playing kind of up to the stereotype he's famous for, whereas he just doesn't speak at all. There's times when people are insulting him, yelling at him, asking him questions, threatening him, and doesn't say a word. They refer to it in the movie as his 1,000-yard stare, and it's kind of a joke, but just because it's what Stallone is known for, but it works in the film because it fits his character. Now, speaking of depth, too, I just want to also say that this is probably one of the least political. This is the least political of all the Rambo films. Each of the other ones have a political message they really hammer into it, and this one the message is pretty simple. There's Burma, there's evil warlords, and there's some good rebels. The rebels are Christian, by the way, and which is kind of something they kind of emphasize in this just a little bit, and that's kind of, they show how bad this is through what they do. They don't bring it up. They don't talk about the politics. I guess they do a little bit. If anything, this is kind of a cautionary tale, or actually it's an argument against Christian missionaries trying to bring good to the world in, war-torn, genocidal type areas. But, usually it's the Rambo pictures are a little too serious for their own good. This one, no, I don't think they're trying to do it. This is a Hollywood 80s action film, and in that sense it succeeds. The action's pretty good. Not clever, but like I said, it's extremely violent. It's overwhelming, and it only works because a lesser film would have had a lot less violence, but would have lingered on it a lot longer. Here, the images are just so quick and forgotten, simply because the tidal wave of violent imagery that just overwhelms you. We're talking babies thrown in fires, bodies just shattered or just torn apart by 50 caliber machine guns, and I mean waves of bodies. This violence isn't the like of which I've ever seen before. It doesn't feel very personal ever. It's a little more like a video game or CGI, and maybe it's like that, almost my own defense mechanism, because it seems so realistic. But, you have your good guys, or really just Rambo's the only good guy. The rest of them are kind of, not, let's say, used to the fullest, and the villain is, a little over the top. He's a smoker. They imply he's gay. But they show him doing the most ruthless, horrible things, and you never really see anything other than that. So, again, he's just a cartoon stereotype of, like a major villain. But you go to see Rambo, you're going to go, you want to hate the bad guys, love the good guys. This is going to give you probably what you expect. It's not going to overwhelm you. This isn't going to veer too much from the other Rambo films. It worked actually for me for what it is, but boy, if you don't know what a Rambo movie is or think you don't like violence, this isn't going to be for you. But I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 stars.